Some of you will recognise me, but some of you might not recognise me because I'm a bit older now. Mr. Harris has asked me to do some lessons for you on mathematics. Unfortunately, with all this lockdown, I wasn't doing anything at home. Jenny's downstairs with little Albus, and so I've offered to do some lessons for him today for Mr. Harris. He's a bit busy. He had to go on a special visit to his spare bedroom. So today I'm going to be doing some Hogwarts lessons. Now, for those of you who are new to these sorts of videos, I'm going to try and do various different activities with you, and along the way you're able to ask questions in the live chat, or if you're joining the video afterwards, you can always ask comments below, and I will get back to you and try and sort it out all for you. So the first thing I need some help with is I've been sent my timetable. Now, my timetable is I've got various different activities. I've got astronomy to teach you. I've got some charms. I've got what does it say here? Herbology and potions and some transfiguration. So I've got lots of different lessons to teach you, but I couldn't work out what the order of all the different activities were. So if you could please just have a quick look at this for me, and just while I'm getting to grips with who's here today, I'm going to say some hellos to the people in the chat. If you could please work out all the possible orders of different letters, just use the letters. For example, I know I've got astronomy first, so you don't need to help with that, but what could be coming next? I mean, it could just be the same as the list I've got, but that's just alphabetical order. It could just be CHPT. So ACHPT would be one order. Could you write down all the possible orders you can come up with, please? And while you're doing that, I'm just going to say hello to some people in the chat. So hello, Alicia. Hello, Paul. Hello, Chelsea. Who else is here today? Hello, Rashan. Good morning, the Lightning Sledgehammer. Good morning, Willow. Good morning, Chelsea. All sorts of people saying hello to me. Wow, 50 people. Someone just told me, hello, Amber. Someone just told me that there's 1,000 people subscribed to Mr. Harris's channel. That's quite ridiculous. Fantastic, and it's lovely to have lots of people coming along to learn maths with Mr. Harris. So it's wonderful to be a guest on his thing. So how are you getting on with your lists? Hopefully you've written down some possible combinations. I believe, I'm not certain about this, but I think that there's 24 possible combinations. 24 possible ways of doing this, and this is because there's if astronomy's first, then if we just look at second, 4 different things could be second, and then 3 different things could be third, and 2 different things could be fourth, and then there's one thing left to be the last. So 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, well, 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24, and times 1. Well, we'll have to check with Mr. Harris when he gets back, but I'm pretty sure there's 24 different combinations just of 4 items. So that's fascinating. I never really understood it. I was just given my timetable when I was at Hogwarts, and Hermione used to tell me where to go normally. So, first lesson is astronomy. So let me remind myself of astronomy. Right. Obviously, all of you have got with you. I've got my wand and my spell book. I'm sure you've all got yours. Have you also got your long range telescopes for looking at? Well, it's a bit difficult at the moment because it's a bit too light outside. But at night we normally do astronomy, and it's all the study of stars. So fortunately for you, to help out, I took a photo last night, and this was the stars I saw. And you can see on your activity pack, if you haven't found your activity pack, I've put a link to it in the comments for you. And also, in the description below the video, if you click show more, you can find it. Now, on here, what we're going to do is we're going to use some astronomy to identify some mathematical constellations. Now, to do so, I think it's probably best if we select not a white colour. Now, if you've got white colouring pencils, that's really helpful, but light colours should all work. I'm just going to show you what I mean. Well, first of all, I can see here this triangle. So I'm just going to use this very easily to make a triangle in the night sky. Here, that line to there and that line to there are pretty much parallel. So if I do that to there, and we then link that down there, if we've got a 4-sided shape with one pair of parallel lines. That's called a trapezium. So we'll call that the trapezium constellation. God, there's lots out here. So one of your tasks to do in your lesson today is you need to get yourself a white or light coloured pencil and draw some constellations in the sky. Now, there are all sorts of constellations in the night sky, and you have to look very, very carefully. As I'm sure you can see, this one here, if we have this up here, and this out here, and round there, and then that goes there, and then there, and round like that, and they call this one the cat. I'm sure you can see there some whiskers. It looks a bit like a mouse, but that's called the cat constellation. I don't know why the tail is over there when clearly the tail should be here. It's been a while since I've done astronomy. Hermione was always the good one at astronomy. But what you can do, and what your task is for astronomy, is you need to go through and you need to make lots of different shapes. How many different three-sided? So can you name all the different triangles? This one would be a right-angled triangle. So there's 4 of those to find, and there's 8 possible quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals just being the 4-sided shapes. Any shape with 4 sides. This one is either a trapezium. Some people might even argue this could be a kite. I am inclined to think this looks a bit like a kite, so I'm even going to delete it because I don't get many things wrong. Ron once thought a kite was a Horcrux. I didn't think Voldemort would make a Horcrux as a kite, but they were the good old years. Okay, so that's your astronomy lesson, the information you need for the astronomy lesson, so hopefully you'll be able to do that. It's a difficult time, obviously, being off doing all these things, so hopefully that's the first lesson covered. And I'm going to zoom back, and hopefully we'll be able to talk now about charms. Now, for charms, you're going to need your wand. And hopefully you'll be able to see the action I'm going to do for a charm today we're going to learn called Aguamenti. Now, some of you already know Aguamenti is where you go down and then up and then down. It's down and up and down. And what it does, if I down, up, down, and what I've just done is I've refilled my water bottle. Yes, Aguamenti is for putting water in things. Now, how is it going to apply to us in a mathematical sense? Well, fortunately, when you use the Aguamenti spell, you get different amounts of water. Now, you have got 2 containers. A container that allows for 7 litres of water, and a container that allows for 3 litres of water. All you have to do is make it so that you've got 5 litres of water. But the Aguamenti spell only gives you 3 litres of water every time you use it. That's why I've just spilt water all over the floor. This water bottle only takes just less than a litre, and there's water everywhere. I'll have to clear that up afterwards. So we've got the Aguamenti spell gives you 3 litres of water. This puzzle, can you work out at some point? Don't say anything now. I'd like to see your working out, and you can see on your worksheets you can write out how you did it. How can you fill up exactly 5 litres of water? Now, you can start with them empty, and I will allow you. You're on the garden. You can pour water out of them, but it will only make exactly 3 litres with your Aguamenti spell. Sorry, exactly 3 litres. You can't go 3 litres and 3 litres. That's 6. You can't just pour 1 out because you won't know how much 1 is. They've forgotten to put the measuring things on these blooming things. You just can't get the staff nowadays. Okay, moving swiftly on. Time for the next class. It never stops when we're doing Hogwarts maths. Right. Herbology time. Now, I understand we have a bit of a problem in herbology. They need some more greenhouses. The greenhouses they had, there was a bit of an accident involving Neville's Level was messing around with some spells to try and make some of the plants grow a bit faster, and unfortunately had a bit of an accident, and 4 of the greenhouses have exploded. We're going to need you to design some more, I'm afraid. Now, all good herbologists know you have to have exactly 36 metres squared of land to be able to make a good greenhouse. A greenhouse must be exactly 36 metres squared. So if I just show you, if you pause the video here when you're doing this later, this shows you exactly what needs to be in the 4 greenhouses you're going to design. The Devil's Stair has to be in a triangular greenhouse. Puffer pods have to be in a rectangle greenhouse, but the perimeter round the outside has to be 30, not metres squared. The instructions that they give you when I'm going to have a word with Mr. Harris School of Maths. He's made silly mistakes. That should say metres, not metres squared. The leaping toadstools have to be in an L shaped. And the mandrakes are the hardest because they need to be in an unusual shape. Maybe some of the year 8s and 9s who are here could try a circle. Maybe you 5s and 6s want to experiment with different designs, putting some rectangles together and making an interesting design. Well, how would we do that? Don't worry, I'm here to teach you some stuff. If I go over here and show you, with a little bit of magic, I can be on this screen, and we can move directly to drawing. How are we going to work out if it's got to be 36? Well, first thing, we could just do a rectangle. But doing it in white is not the best way to get it to show up. So we make it black. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to do another one. Magic! Made another rectangle. But I'm going to make this one longer. So therefore, if I want 36, what I'm going to want to do is I might want in this one to make it so it's 14, and to make it up to 36, that leaves 22 for this one. So in order to make my rectangle design, I'm going to need something that multiplies by these two numbers need to multiply to make 14, and these two numbers need to multiply to make 22. Can you work out what they would be? I think I'm going to use 7 and 2 and 2 and 11. There are other answers as well, and they don't have to be whole numbers. So when we're designing, we could put down whatever's going to go in here. I'm going to put this for keeping Hermione's plants in. She always has too many plants. So I think Ron was saying that she's going to donate some to Hogwarts soon, so we can put some of Hermione's plants in there for the isolation. You never know what they're going to do. But we've got a new design here for a greenhouse, and you can see it's an L-shaped one, this one. So this gives you an idea of how you could go about it. Don't forget when you do triangles, if you watched my lesson earlier, you'll know this. What am I talking about? Mr. Harris's lesson earlier. I haven't done any lessons before. Random. Sorry. It must be my old age. I keep thinking about back when I was fighting Ginny always tells me to stop going on about it. It's over now. If that was 8 metres and that was 5 metres, we have to do 8 times 5 divide by 2. So this would only be 20. So when you're working out your triangle to be 36, you're going to have to do some halving as well. Okay. Well, we're racing through our timetable. Let's see what we've got next. I believe we might have some, at the end of Herbology, potions. Here we go. And in the potions class, we have got to work on mixing different potions. In order to mix different potions, you're going to need to know how they all interact together. So to help you out, I've prepared a list for you. These are the numbers that are produced by each of the ingredients you might want. For example, if I wanted to make a potion that needs a hippogriff feather and a blast-ended scroot claw, then you would multiply the 3 by the 13 to get 39. So potion number 39, which is called Whistling down the wind. Don't know why it's called that, but whistling down the wind. I think it makes the sound of whistling. Just when you're trying to annoy your brothers, and you can go when they're behind them. You need a hippogriff feather and a blast-ended screw, and that would be 3 times 13 is 39. Now, the interesting thing in your lesson is we've got some unknown potions. I don't know what's in them, and I want to make sure they're safe. So I've given you some numbers there. What you have to do is work out what the potions are. So therefore, how are you going to do that? Fortunately, there is a way. And I'm going to show you how that works. If we come over here, if I'm given potion number 150, I need 2 numbers that are going to multiply to make 150. And it doesn't matter which ones I choose. So I'm going to use 15 times 10 makes 150. Neither of them are prime numbers, so we know we haven't got any ingredients yet. We've got 3 times 5. They're prime, so I circle them. Remember, the primes are 2, 3, 5, 7. You can see them in the list of your ingredients. 10 is 2 times 5. So this needs to be 2 times 3 times 5 times 5. Those of you in year 8 and 9, I would hope that you would write this as 2 times 3 times 5 squared. But what about the ingredients? Well, if I quickly remind you back to the list, it says Devil's Snare was 2, Hippogriff Feathers 3, and Giant's Toenail is 5. Devil's Snare, Hippogriff Feather, and Giant's Toenail. So we've got Devil's Snare and Hippogriff Feather and then 2 Giant's Toenails. And that's how you make potion number 150, which I think is called blah blah blah. It's a weird name, but it's called blah blah blah. And what it does is if you point this potion and you just have a little bit of it, and then every time you go to speak, you go blah blah blah. It's very funny if you can get your friends to have some of this potion. Every time I used to use it on Ron, he used to come running and go and it was so funny. It used to make me laugh so frequently. Okay, let's have a quick look at the next lesson on the schedule. Did you work out what it could be? Well, I'm hoping after potions we've got to still do some transfiguration. Transfiguration is where we change one thing into another, but we are going to focus on transfiguration where we're making things bigger. Transfiguration can be used for changing not just one thing into another, but things into slightly larger things. And so we're going to be looking at transfiguration and how we can do that today. And the way I'm going to try and teach you transfiguration is as follows. I have prepared a picture of Dobby. Hopefully you can all see the picture of Dobby on there. Now, when you're going to do the transfiguration, what you're going to do is we're using the small grid to help us make Dobby bigger. Let me just do that to make sure that Dobby is fully visible. So, in order to do it, the easy bit, I want to draw a green Dobby. If I look in this top box, the only thing I've got is a tiny line there. So I'm going to do a slightly bigger line, just like that. And then here, this line goes there, and then round. So I'm going to go on the bigger box, there, and then round. And I'm going to do a little line there. It's also in this box got some lines, and another line there. And he's got another line there and there. And the start of his nose is here and goes down there. And we have a top of his eyebrow like that. And the top of his eye like that. So all we're doing is each box you copy the things you can see in that box. So hopefully what you're going to do is you're going to go away, and I'd love to see your drawings, or Mr. Harris will show me your drawings that he sees on his Facebook group, or has posted, or even emailed to school of Mr. Harris at gmail.com. We can start to see Dobby taking shape as a larger version of him, because hopefully you're all making, when you do this Transfiguration lesson, you're all going to make it. Now my one's not very good, but it's not terrible, and we can see like that, and hopefully you'll be able to finish off your diagram, and that will come around like that, and that goes around like that, and we have an eyebrow, and you can see everything gets copied, and hopefully you're going to do a version of Dobby that will be bigger than the version we already have. So you can see a small version of Dobby, and you use this to transfigure it, and can you make a bigger version of Dobby on your sheets that are available. Remember, the sheets are available on the side, and you can in fact use the Engorgio spell, Willow. That is correct, but we're also going to Engorgio using the drawings as well. So before you can Engorgio, you need to have your drawing there of your larger version. So we use a mathematical approach to do that. Okay, where next with my lessons? Well, that's the end of all my lessons for you, I'm afraid. That is a full timetable of lessons that you have now covered of with me, Harry Potter, slightly older and greyer Harry Potter. But now you've got to go off and do your lessons. There's an activity pack in the description below. There is also, it's in the live chat if you want to click on the link there. That will take you to activity pack. If you've enjoyed this video, then please like it. Consider telling all your friends about it. Share, get your mums and dads and carers and whoever looks after you to share this out to people. I'm just trying to make sure that you all have some fun, do some maths, and learn some things while we're often stuck in our houses. I've been trying to help Mr. Harris out. I've been Harry Potter. Until next time, ciao.